He comes to the ring with a record of 22 wins, 60 defeats, and 2 draws. He has 18 wins by way of knockout. Introducing from Doncaster, the White Rhino, Dave Allen.
Clean fight, okay? Most of them to defend yourselves at all times, all right? Just go.
Dave Allen, as you hear, weighing in over 18 stone, significantly the bigger man. Had some big name opponents in the past, famously in 2016 went in at late notice and went the distance with Dillian White. Made his debut way back in 2012. Boucetta, born in Morocco, he made his debut in 2016, and I think it's only fair to say he's only won one of his last 14 contests.
He fought Louis Pachetti last week as well, who's an unbeaten prospect, who I actually saw Pachetti's debut. He's a real promising prospect, and he's been in with Moses Itauma as well last September, who of course is another really highly touted prospect. So
and banged out in a round by him.
He was indeed. Sure, he won't want reminding of that, but tough night's work that, or short distance, but tough work anyway. So yeah, we'll see, you know, whether this is, you know, there's hopefully more big nights. You've just alluded to the fact that Dave Allen has been in some huge fights, you know, Fraser Clark and David Price, you know, over the years, of course, been around a long time, as you said, and he's also sparred with the best in the world.
That was most recent, wasn't it? Fraser Clark last September in that fight. It was
an odd affair.
Funny sort of fight, wasn't it? Because,
very odd.
I mean, Fraser had been smacked by some low blows, and a lot of people at ringside were thinking that Dave was still right in that fight.
Yeah, it was certainly an odd one, and last time out he was just sort of getting through the rounds. He was coming back to full fitness. He'd shed quite a lot of weight that he'd put on post Clark fight, and he'd you know, made clear statement that he wanted to get back into great shape. So this one, we'll see whether he's going to use it to get the rounds under his belt, John, or really turn on the burners. It remains to be seen, because there are some big nights ahead. Of course, last week when Johnny Fisher beat Allen and Savage Babbage, you know, he was asked in the post-fight press conference about Dave Allen, and in a very, very respectful manner he said he'd love that fight, which I'm sure fight fans would want to see. So big things on the horizon, so perhaps he'll want to get these rounds under his belt.
Well, Dave's a crowd pleaser, isn't he? Always has been, and he certainly talks a good fight in the run-up. To a promoter, he's a bit of a dream. He's always a good interviewer. He speaks well, and he's putting on the pressure here and landing some solid shots, banging away to the body inside there. And Boucetta feeling a little bit of the weight of his punches in that exchange, such as it was. Not really an exchange, it was Allen teeing off. Here he comes again.
I think what we saw last time out as well, there was loads of upper body mobility from Dave Allen. He was switching the angles, it was a good technical display, and he was pleased with it. When we chatted to him afterwards at ringside, he was happy with that display, and he said that he wanted to show everybody what he was capable of as an actual technical boxer.
Well, on more than one occasion, the big fella here from Doncaster, he's walked away from the sport, said that he's not enjoying it, and when he came back, he said, I want to be getting stuff out of it, getting things out of it on my terms.
And the thing is now, Johnny's got 2 children, and you know, there's huge opportunities opening up in the sport, particularly in the heavyweight division, as we've seen with Riyadh season. You know, you only need one chance in those fights, and it's life-changing money. So perhaps he's got one eye on that, maybe.
Yeah, there's the Riyadh season, and there's been some decent heavyweight tussles on the boxer camp as well over on Sky Television. So if he looks good, and if he makes a statement, bit of a boxing cliche, but you know what I mean, if he wins it spectacularly, then it certainly weighs things more heavily in his favour. That's a good jab to open the action in this round.
I think what would be interesting to fight fans is that mix of characters of Johnny Fisher and Big John, his dad, as well, and Dave Allen, because as you say, real entertaining characters, certainly out of the ring as well as in the ring. So that'd certainly be one that fans would have an eye on. But he's doing a good job here, Dave Allen, of mixing up his shots, putting some nice combinations together. And Boucetta doing his best just to keep him at bay, but doesn't really, it seems, possess the power to deter Dave Allen from coming forward.
He's never had a stoppage win, Amine. He's 8 victories, 14 defeats, never had a stoppage. Still, having said all that, we saw a man get his first stoppage in our previous fight tonight, Jan Arden, stopping Josh Wisher. And he was mighty happy about it as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, he really was, yeah. But that's what you want to see sometimes, obviously not for Wisher. And, you know, obviously it's a disappointing night for him. But on these shows, for Fight Zone fans and for the fans in here in Sheffield, you want to see some upsets and some 50-50s. Of course you do. That's the exciting unpredictability of sport, isn't it?
That's what we love about boxing. It always has that capacity to demolish those predictions and opinions which are voiced beforehand. It only takes one.
I think Dave Allen here, John, and I don't want to speak too soon really, but I think it looks like the intent perhaps is to go through the rounds here, because it would be in his interest to get 4 rounds under his belt if he's then going to go on to obviously fight potentially next time on the big stage against tougher opposition. It looks like he, you know, if he wanted to turn it on here, he could get the stoppage, but sometimes it's about looking at what's ahead, isn't it, in a fighter's career? He's
working away well inside. There was a lovely right uppercut as you were speaking there, Stacey. Timed it well, did Dave. Seems to have been around forever, doesn't he? Been fighting now for 12 years, but turned pro young. He's only 32 now, and he's still got time. Remember, the major players of the heavyweight division are older than that. That's a good left hand, and Boucetta felt the weight of that.
Last time out, I know he was pleased as well to match the record of his father in terms of number of professional contests. Dave Allen Sr. grandfather was a boxer as well, and there's some nice feints here with that front foot that Dave Allen's bringing in, just stepping across well, and nice movement from him. And Boucetta's, you know, played his part here as well. You know, he's thrown when he's had the opportunity, but of course he'll be aware he's got to do so with caution, because we know Dave Allen is heavy-handed.
Here's some of the action from that second round. Allen clearly taking the opener, and as you see here, going through the gears a little bit at times and making Boucetta feel the weight of his punching. Lovely jab.
Yep, nice movement again from Dave Allen, similar to what we saw last time out here in Sheffield back in April. Nice movement, showing his technical ability. Nice array of shot selection.
10 seconds, corners.
Been good work from him.
Seconds out.
4 rounder this one, and we go into the third.
The other difficult thing here, which I think is fair to mention, John, for a fighter like Dave Allen, who's been in with the calibre of fighters and on the occasions, you know, some was a good backhand, some big shows and some big nights, can be really difficult then when you're sort of rebuilding, if it's fair to say that, after the Fraser Clark fight, to get opponents. Certainly, you know, they're going to demand a decent purse, aren't they? And boxing is a business as well as a sport. You know, there is the business side to consider, so it can be really difficult getting people willing to get in with the likes of Dave Allen.
Mickey Duff
4, 6, 8 rounds.
Mickey Duff used to have a phrase about that. He said they were the fully paid up members of the Who Needs Them club.
That's a big left hook there. Yeah, absolutely right. Big left hook from Dave Allen there, but didn't seek to capitalise on it and, you know, really step on him, which just makes you think he's going to get these rounds under his belt perhaps this evening.
He's winning very comfortably.
He's dominating in every single area of the fight, isn't he, in terms of ring position and landing shots, and it's good performance.
And it just remains to be seen whether or not he's going to go looking for the punches to finish this one inside the distance, or whether he is indeed satisfied to go through the 4 rounds. Might be the case. The old white Rhino just wanting to go through his moves, wanting to go through his paces.
And of course that's really important, because despite the fact that he's been, he has really committed to his training, something that he will openly admit he hasn't done throughout his career. In fact, the opposite sometimes. He'll be the first person to tell you that, but he's really knuckled down, getting his weight down, living the right lifestyle, eating right. He's committed to it. But that's different to being in the ring. It's a different kind of fitness, different mentality. So it is important for him to get rounds under his belt on fight night. Very different to sparring and the rounds you do in the gym.
Another solid right hand going through the guard of Boucetta. And you almost think that if he put together a real solid, sustained attack, that the stoppage is within his capabilities.
100%, and that's why I think here, for people who perhaps might be watching thinking, why is that not happening? I do think this evening is about Dave Allen getting those rounds under his belt. But he's doing it in good style as well, John. I mean, he's putting on a good technical display here. Good to see.
Gloves low as he comes in, full of confidence now, Allen, and knows that at no stage has he been hit. Little touch of gloves and the pat around the back of his head. Boucetta's playing his part here, but Allen in complete control, and he's now made it 3 rounds out of 3. That was a solid right hand, he winged in over the top. There's one which went a little bit low.
And that's the thing, isn't it, that if you are going to have a contest like this, which is about getting the rounds under your belt, you want to do it in impressive fashion. You want to show what you're capable of, you want to be technically sound, you want to try things as well that perhaps you might not risk, let's say, in against different opposition. So I think they'll be pleased in the corner with what they're seeing from Dave Allen here.
10 seconds,
Well, last round coming up. It's going to be interesting, assuming that there's no huge upset in this final round. Interesting to see how Dave assesses this performance and whether or not he just sees it as another step towards his chosen goal. Onto the front foot again.
Real spring in his step here, Boucetta, hasn't he, at the opening seconds of this final round. He's giving it a good go.
Right on the ropes in front of us. Boucetta sinks to his knees. No knockdown, of course. Looking a little bit busier here, the Belgian, but there's nothing in those punches, and there's a solid right hand over the top from Allen once again.
And sometimes what happens in this kind of circumstance, John, as you will have seen many, many times before, the fighter who has been the dominant force in the opening rounds might just give a little reminder. If the so-called away fighter comes out with a little bit of spirit, and they want to dampen that spirit.
And conversely,
quickly.
We've seen journeymen who've sort of survived the rounds in the last round just want to show what they're capable of doing.
Absolutely. And Dave won't mind that either. You know, he needs this as well, doesn't he? Because you don't want to have to do nothing defensively. It's favourable to him if he has to work for this a little bit in preparation of what's to come.
Referee Michael Alexander's had a quiet night here. It's been a clean fight. Contest fought in a good spirit. There's a solid body shot from Allen. Really felt that left hand thud home. And a bit of a delayed effect
Could play for Italy, Boucetta, couldn't he? Who dives like that.
You can tell him
Or pretty much any Premier League team either these days, I guess.
Well, Boussetta's going to see it through to the final bell by the looks of it. Only been stopped on a couple of occasions.
He certainly interrupted the flow and rhythm of Dave Allen this final round, hasn't he? But still.
Yeah, Allen still won it though.
Absolutely.
And he's finishing with a little bit of a grandstand finish, some big body shots going in the final seconds as they come up towards the final bell of this fourth round. Last 10 seconds. And Allen will be the winner, unquestionably. We'll wait to see how the referee scores it. To my way of looking at it, though, that's surely going to be 4 rounds to 0 to Dave Allen. He'll see it as part of the greater plan. Sure,
yeah, I'll certainly be asking him about that afterwards, but it certainly seems that way from our vantage point here, John, and knowing the career of Dave Allen and what potentially is to come. But I'll certainly be asking him about that after this. But I think, you know, overall, technically, a good performance. He's got the rounds under his belt. I'm sure he'll be pleased with the way in which he went about it. And a fair play to Boucetta as well, who played his part in that contest.
Well, it's congratulations all round. I'm sure that Boucetta knows the score. We probably know the score. And our big MC certainly knows the score. So here it is.
Ladies and gentlemen, please have a big round of applause for both of our boxers. After 4 rounds, we go to our referee, Michael Alexander's scorecard, which reads 40 points to 36 in favour of your winner, the White Rhino, Dave Allen.
I have to be a huge student of boxing to know that that was going to be the scoreline. 4 rounds to 0. The referee scores it in Dave Allen's favour. An emphatic victory, and he's heading down to our interview position.
Was the plan tonight to get some rounds under your belt?
Yeah, I've only boxed 5 times in the last 5 years, so wanted to box. Taking nothing away from him, he's tough. He would have took some stopping, but I just went to instruction, get behind my jab, try things out, don't get hit. I think I did that. Yeah, it's an hard process, as you know, getting back into it. So just need more of the same. The Johnny.
Well, you dominated in every area of that fight, and also you're able to show your array of shots that are in your arsenal, technically really sound. Were you happy with that performance?
I'll have to watch it back, but I just wanted to come tonight, get 4 rounds, show a bit of boxing skill. It's just, it's a long process. I know it is. Like people talk about Johnny Fisher, I know that's miles away. That's why I like.
Do you think, because we mentioned that it was mentioned in the post-fight press conference, wasn't it? And he very respectfully, I thought, said that he would love that fight. He was very praising of you. Is that something that you'd want down the line?
Yeah, I'd love the fight, but if I boxed him tonight, he'd take me out in no time. I'm miles off it, and I know that. I'm fit as a fiddle. Just need more time, more fights. And of course, that's the fight I want. I want to get back in the British title mix. I have no delusion about my ability. I think I can mix a British title level at my best. And I want to get back there, because I will. I want to.
What is the plan then for that?
Activity, really. I've boxed 5 times in 5 years. I boxed Fraser Clark and I weren't ready for it, but there was nothing else there, so I took it and I got embarrassed, and I won't make that mistake again. So just a case now of sitting down with Roger, Gary, Jamie, Nige, my old man, and see what's what. So yeah, well, while I'm here, when we finish, let me know if I've got something I want to say.
Okay, my final question is, John and I, we both say it feels like you've been around forever. You have been around for a long time. You've been through lots of things in boxing and outside of boxing, lots of life changes, becoming a father twice, of course. How is the sport for you now? Have you got that love for it? And, you know, how are you feeling about being part of the sport at this stage? I know you've had lots of different changes in your relationship with the sport over the years.
I love boxing more than anything. Boxing saved my life, then it changed it. Everything good in my life's come from boxing. There's been a fair share of the bad ones and all, to be fair. But I love boxing. And as long as the people around me that care about me tell me that I've got something left and I can compete at the level that I want to be competing at, I'll continue. And the minute any of them turn around and say, look, it's over, I'm done. And
well, we're glad that you're still around, because you're one of the best loved characters in the sport. What did you want to say to finish?
Just my granddad. My granddad's watching at home. Just want to tell my granddad, the best granddad I could have ever asked for. And I love him very much, and I'll see you tomorrow.
That's lovely. Listen, it was lovely to see you in action. Can't wait to see you again. Well done.